with his own father, grandfather, and many others who are ahead of us. I thought, as a way of giving a tribute to my father, I could share a few of the lessons that I learned from him, or he taught me, over those 43 years that I got to spend with him. So, if you will forgive me, I have 5 of them that I would like to share. The first one, I think, is a very important lesson for every man, which is how to iron a suit. As you can see, I've got my own son. The same lesson. Many may not know this, but our father would not allow people to iron his suit. That was a criminal offense. And our Sundays as children involved watching him all afternoon ironing his suits for the week and the shirts, whistling, listening to BBC World Service, shortwave, a very happy man. I actually want to apologize to my father, because I ironed the suit that he is wearing, and the trousers. Hapa nyuma sijafanya vizuri sana, so nitaendelea kupractice mzee and get better. Thank you. The second one, this is a lesson my father repeated to me on a weekly basis, probably for the last 20 years, and I know Mr. Nyaga would like this. My father made it very clear to me every week, as did my godfather, Professor Nyaga, a few days ago, that there was no such school in the Republic of Kenya as Alliance. That school does not exist, and I heard this every week. The school that exists in Kenya is known as the Alliance. As you will have heard from his numbers, the school is very close to him. Thankfully, and some of the responsible parties are here, thankfully since 2013, every week since when my father would say this to me, I was able to respond to him. Because I think he was a bit disappointed I did not follow him and his father to that school, to the Alliance. But since 2013, I've been able to respond to him that St. Mary's, Ulifika State House, Kabela ya the Alliance. So, I also want to represent you in school. Thank you. Number 3, this is a very simple one, and from what my father used to tell me, Waziri Balala can attest to this fact. And I quote, Mwaniki, Mwaniki, if you're going to a place where there's going to be tear gas, because my father had an interesting career. If you're going to a place where there's going to be tear gas, you must carry toothpaste. Here. So you carry toothpaste here. Yeah? Because you put the toothpaste under the eyes and under the nose, and it reduces the effect of the tear gas. So I'm happy to share that lesson for free. Now I tell you. Number 4, this one is tricky, and my brother can attest to this. Our father taught us how to salute. And when people think saluting is either going up, it's either going down, is the secret. And we practice this quite a lot in our house. I think it was touched on this in the eulogy in the program. Our father's boyhood dream was to be a soldier. And he used to tell us how his own father overruled him at the end of high school after the Alliance. And as we were growing up, Norman and I, our father gave us a running commentary. And he used to tell us, oh, maybe when we were younger, oh, if I had joined the army, by now I would have been a colonel. Then we got a bit older, then it was, oh, if I had joined the army, by now I would have been a brigadier. Then it was, oh, by the time I went to university, oh, if I joined the army, by now I would have been a general. So, which led me to conclude that the real reason he ran for the presidency of the Republic in 2017 was because he was 69 at the time, And that the only way he could still get into the military at 69. The last lesson I'd like to share with you all today is in many ways the most important lesson. It's also the hardest to put into practice. However, given this lesson is an official Nyaga family trade secret, I cannot share it with you today or my uncles would kill me. So you can meet me in my tent. On a slightly more serious note, and I see Waziri Kagwe with us here. My father was a very strong man, physically strong. He was 72 years old. He walked 10 kilometers every morning at 5 a.m. Myself and my sons tried to keep up with him and we were defeated. The truth is that COVID took him in 4 weeks. Waziri Kagwe has been telling us all year, and perhaps you have not been listening, but sasa tumeona na macho, hii kitu ni real. This is a very strong man. It is real. I would like to use this opportunity to urge all my age mates, my children's age mates, your parents, your grandparents, do everything in your power to protect them from this virus. It is real until the vaccine ifike si mbali. Yeah? Naomba on behalf of my family and my father. And Yamisho, just to say, to repeat what Mr. Nyaga said in the eulogy, it is true. My father once said to me that I would inherit all his friends and I'm delighted to be surrounded by his friends today. On behalf of my family, thank you very much. Dad, we love you forever.
Thank you, Maneki, for your nice words. I'll just do one example. Alex and Melvin and Ella, just stand up, just stand up. Joe was very proud of those Muzungus. The boy he named after me called Norman, for those who may be willing and ready, he's still single, free to mingle. He's a pilot in Japan. Joe's wish on that young man called Norman was that Norman should get a girl from Southern Sudan, so that when they get children, the grandchildren will be blue dark. I think that is something, if you see Antoinette, he'll help you out. He'll pray for you so that you can go to the South Sudan. Your Excellency, I think it is important at this point in time, before I call my big sister Mary and the other one, I give a quick history about Joe. Not that history that is known, not the one of Pentagon that he was with the Banana, the Red, and so on. I give a history of Joe's sickness just before he died. And with your permission, and he has given me permission. Joe fell sick before he was admitted to hospital on the 19th. He was home in Nairobi for a week. God knows what he was doing in Nairobi. When I came here 11 months ago, I closed my office in Nairobi. The president, with a lockdown, when I was still here, 11 months down the line, I'm still sitting in Embu, and I had not gone to Nairobi until this dear brother of mine took me to Nairobi. I had told him, Joe, wewe na mimi sisi ni wazee na tumekomaa, wacha tuketi huku hii kitu iondoke. So I'm reminded on that day, my last trip with Joe, Your Excellency, was coming from a place called Mutuabare. Mutuabare is about 1 hour and a half away from here. Huko chini, karibu na kwa Wakamba. And believe you me, whatever we are going to do on land matters, we spend a whole day there with Joe. And Joe spoke to me all the way from Mutuabare to my home. And I complained to my relatives when I got home that this fellow does not stop talking. Because Joe was very talkative and he came to see me every evening whenever he was in Embu, in Embu. I miss this guy. Joe spoke to me and for a long time, as you know, in 2013, 2017, whichever year it was, I forget very easily, and Joe stood for presidency. And I'll talk about it very briefly. We asked the children, what would you like us to write on the tombstone of your father? And they told us, I was number 3. Never mind the votes he got. But I was number 3. So we might have to do that. He loved to do that. You're now looking at the president number 3. You know, therefore, by extension, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, you're looking at President number 3 also, because I've taken over the L of the Nyaga. So anyway, Joe gets sick. He sits in Nairobi. My sister Mary calls me and tells me, why don't you speak to your brother Joe? He has refused to go to Nairobi. I'm not sure. So I try talking to Joe. I'm not able to get him. Hold of him. I get hold of the son, Maleki. And he tells me that is okay. I said, have you seen him? No. He's okay. He's been talking to me. So I say, you go, let me know how he was. So finally I spoke to Joe. And he picked up my phone, and this is what he said. No, but I'm okay. I was unwell. I've lost a bit of weight. But now, I am okay. Perfect. The next one, I hear he still has not gone to hospital. So, Mwaniki and Mary tell me that they need to take him to the hospital, and Bill Mayaka was waiting and ready to use the police to take him by force. I was talking to Professor Nyaminyongo, and he said, I wish that Saturday I knew before I went to Kisumu, I'd have forced Joe to go to hospital. Lakini ya Mungu imefichwa sana, Professor. Hata wewe utalazwa hapa siku moja. And you know, I keep on saying by extension, because Professor, you're older than me, you go there before me. So anyway, my madam calls Joe, and Joe complains. I'll never tell anything to Mary because Mary has no secrets. Why did she say I am unwell? Please, the whole world keeps on calling me to find out about me. So I mean, but NATO tells you that, with all due respect, Your Excellency, would you just know that this man is well? In fact, at that time I would have called him a dude. He's well, just for it to know a bit of American. So I let Joe. To my surprise, on a Monday, in the evening, I'm called and I'm told that Joe is extremely unwell and he needs to go to the hospital. Well, he has already gone to the hospital, so I follow that, and I'm told not only is he sick, actually this man is sick from this animal called COVID-19, the one that we are told is abnormal by the CSOs here, and you come and tell us later how abnormal this thing is. Sasa watu wa mbele mtajionea, yeye mwenyewe, abnormality is here. So, there's nothing we could do. Here it happened, the rest is history. We get doctors, team of good doctors to go through it. We have people tested in his chamber here, and in Nairobi everything is working. A man called Embu We want to thank you. You have flown all the way from London to come here. I get a call from Nairobi Hospital. I am told he needs a hydronasal canal set. And it's only available in that hospital. I call Mutahi, CS, and Your Excellency, the reason I call Mutahi, just Mutahi, sometimes I forget it, because when I was a tiny little boy, I used to give him pocket money. This one, before he became a rich man. I went to school with my kid brother Gerald. Now he's a big man, he orders me what to do. So anyway, so I speak to CS Mutahi, and Mutahi tells me, I will call you back. But he doesn't know what I want. So I said, I'll break all protocols. So I called the CEO of Kenyatta National Hospital. Trust me, Your Excellency, with my mouth, I can get anything. And he gave me this cannula. It was taken to Nairobi Hospital, and Joe was using it by 9 o'clock. And for the next 3 days, it made him survive. Then I get another call from the doctor, and he tells me, this man now needs to go to ICU because things are serious. So he goes into ICU, we are following. I am writing to many people, give them the reports and so on. And we all think Joe is going to be okay. He's going to be okay. And we are even thanking our God, that Joe is going to heal. Until one Wednesday, 2 days before he died. And I think that was on the 8th. Your Excellency, tangu mimi nije hapa, mimi sijaweka suruali kama hii ambayo ninaweka. Nilikwenda hapa Embu, nikashonesha hii suruali ya inaitwa kipande. Ndio. If you look at me, I'm a truly native of Mbere here. I was in the shamba, and I got this information. Joe is very unwell. We did a chest X-ray on him, and 97% of his lungs, post-COVID, are gone. So now, this is after being moved from COVID ICU to normal ICU of Nairobi Hospital. They used within 2 weeks, or just about 2 weeks, Joe had healed from COVID. And that's why he was moved to ICU, and my family continued on to see him in hospital to encourage him. But the lungs were over-destroyed, 97%. So this is what they said, the doctors. We need the family to come to us because we have to make a decision on Joe. Either he lives in a ventilator or the family thinks otherwise. You know, the doctors are telling us either switching on or switching off, forgetting that it is unofficial, it's unlawful. Is that so, JB? Mobile? Negro? It's unlawful. So, I tell the doctors, you know, I'm affiliated to over 500 hospitals worldwide. Now the DP knows. I can actually take Joe to Chennai in India, where we can do a bilateral lung transplant, and he can survive. If at all his brain is okay, then they said, we are going to do that tomorrow. 2 hours later of a conversation with the doctors, Joe got the first heart attack, cardiac arrest. A couple of hours later, another cardiac arrest, but all lasting between 4 and 5 minutes. CPR, no defibrillator was used on Joe. Then I said, things are serious. Hii kitu imekuwa ni mlima, ni mnyama. Now I started looking for God's intervention. And God's intervention at that point in time is my very good friend and my neighbor, the Bishop of Nairobi, Bishop Waweru. Graciously agreed to go the same day with his wife. They called me and they said all the things that he said for those who are not asleep when he was preaching. And I was quite satisfied. If Joe heard or did hear, and Joe had confessed to me many a times how saved he was. And he had confessed also to Bishop how saved he was. You know, for me, I have no doubt where Joe is. Joe sits where where all of us will go. But not everybody, those who do evil things which I don't do. And if you want to see me, you must do the nice things that I do. I want to thank you, all the people led by the President and the Deputy President, who were praying all along for Joe to be healed in hospital. I don't take it for granted. You were excellent as far as I was concerned. So anyway, the next morning we rushed to Nairobi Hospital, and my wife and I, and we are there just on time. We are there for 2 hours. I think we were only 6 of us, and we prayed with this man, and we did everything with this man. Then, just before we got there, he got a third heart attack. Fourth heart attack happened after 4 hours, 2 hours, and that was the last one that took him to the next world. I was very happy, actually, Joe went in my presence. He would have decided to go before me, before getting there. But I asked the doctors, can you do everything possible so that his son Norman, who was arriving the next day, would find him here, whether in vegetative state, but the machine working, and then we can deal with machine at that time. Norman, I'm sorry. By the time that happened, it is history we give you. But for me, Professor Nyaminyongo and Cicely Kariuki, look at the respect Joe gave me. That this is the way I'm looking at it, and I feel very strong about it. That Joe waited for me until I was there, and then he took his last breath. I did 2 things before I called my big sister Mary. I shut his eyes. Excellent. Nipigiwe makofi kwa kumfunga macho. Hata wewe professor. Nikamfunga mdomo, and I was satisfied I had done God's will of what I ought to have done. Mary, why don't you run here? I am through here, over here. Dr. Mary Kimulu is my big sister. If I never refer to Dr. Mary Kimulu as my big sister, I get into a lot of trouble. As a matter of fact, Your Excellency and Your Excellencies, this young girl who did not make Joe grow up, because the difference was only 13 months, mine and her was also 13 months, she taught J.B. Muturi, the Speaker of the National Assembly, when he was a little toto, when he did not know how to put. In fact, that time you remember from Ishiara, the trouser you are doing it reverse.
You know, I did not ask him to do my speech. The bishops and the clergy, our deputy president, one day I called you vice president when I was quite new to these things, and I apologize and you forgave me in a Bible Society meeting. Oh, sorry. This boy just wanted to shake your hand. There's nothing more. That's why he's coming here. Anyway, cabinet ministers led by our sister from our area who has really helped us to coordinate everything, people coming to sign the book and to do everything. I'm not giving both of that, but Cicely, thank you. When I got married, she was in primary school. You have to know that. They said, he said, I don't hide anything, so I'm going to say everything. Our governors who are here, members of Senate, members of Parliament led by my Form 1 students. That's why Norman is saying it. Did I ask him to say it? I was going to say it. I'm very proud to say the Speaker, I got him in Form 1, and he's not ashamed to tell everybody that I got him in Standard 1. So when he does good things, credit to Mary. When he does bad things, it's known as the other teachers. So that's how it goes. So very special friends of Joe are here. I will not mention them, but you know yourselves. We were there when we took him to the mortuary. We were there just after he passed away. You stood with us in Nairobi the whole week. I'm not giving both of that, but thank you, thank you. Very many senior people are here, I cannot start saying. Joe never felt anybody was lower than the other. everybody was equal. He came to my gate, he asked my watchman there at the gate, not that I live in a house, I live in a flat, but he come and ask the securities, who is the chairman? And before he goes, they got somebody. They told me, poor chairman has gone. So I was going to talk about him when during the emergency, we went to Nyaga, my father's place was achieved. And Joe always felt he was proud that he was escorted by security to school. Thus, he would say, when he became a minister, my daughter told me not to say it, but I'll say it. It was not abnormal to have security. But because I was given security that was not mine, I learned how to love and respect everybody and know everybody in this world would need security. That's the lesson Joe learned from that, and it happened. The second one is, I had written my speech, but Mwaneki has embarrassed me because we don't read speeches. Mwaneki, we went to a scout meeting in Nyeri, and I read, you were both chief commissioners at one time. And when I went to speak, everybody went away. When Daddy went to speak, everybody came. The car was very upset. I said, Dad, just because you're a minister and old, that's why they listen to you. He said, no, Mary, you read your speech. So I've tried in my life not to read speeches, but this is not a normal time for me. So it's a bit difficult for me to do. My family, you made a mistake. You say that I represent you. How can I do? Nash, stand up and I see your family and people can see you. Nash, where's your family? Nash, former Governor Nash, President Jude. Norman, because you want to take over, you are number one. You might be looking older than me, but you are number 3. In our family, we talk in the numbers. Joe number 1, Mary number 2. No, Norman number 3. So, but anyway, it's okay. Jero, where's your family? Jero, by the way, Jero is very special today because the Minister of Health was your best man. So you are very proud. He keeps on telling me that. And when I call you, remember he's your best man. I used to come and see you in Kahuya when I was doing teaching practice. I don't think I gave you pocket money, but I visited you. You and your family. I'm not going in any order. That's number 6. The one who stood. The one who stood before you was number 5. Number 7. Where's your family? Rachel, the lawyer. That's Rachel and her family. And Baka is number 4 with Z. I'm leaving you there because I'm going to mention Z somewhere. It's not because you are last. Z is family. Where are you? Baka and your family. Mwaneki Wambere and Baka. And the one who likes to take my age, Norman, family. Where are you? Norman's family. There is Norman's family. Kimurus, we are the only ones with a different name with Rachel. Kimurus, that is my grandson, named after me, even if he's a boy, because they said in Kisi they can call somebody Biro. So he's also Biro after my husband. He represents 2 bodies. This bodyguard is a Kai. And then, where is the other? Where's my family? Model, Unique, Adam, and Mama Adam is also in the group here. Wonderful mother to give my daughter. Get me to present them. I cannot present them. I only tell you. Every 2 weeks, Joe came to my house. One day, Norman came to my house. My husband died 23 years ago. Norman asked me, do you lock the door like a goat and stay alone? I said, I love it. I'm okay. Joe did not call me a goat. Joe came every 2 weeks, once a week, to sit next to me and hear what I had in my life. My husband died 23 years, and Joe for 23 years has been the grandchildren. This boy in his French school, he did his family tree. My mother, I'm sorry. He wrote his grandfather was Joe when he was 5. So, Joe is a very special person to my life. And thank you for letting me speak. Because of the time, I want to say 2, 3 things. Joe did to me that I remember, that I'll never forget. When I started dating at Alliance, the boys will tell Joe, give us the name of your sister. He will not give. He said, if you write to her, they were in her father's desk. So he hid. But Z gave all the boys. They were at Alliance, I was across. Then I get a few boys who liked me except Professor Nyanyo for something. Why? He was across, and the sister was my classmate, and Sally, why you never, I don't even know how God I used to admire for 5 months, but they never saw me. But some nice ones saw me. And to go for dates, I had a condition from Joe. You come at Church of Touch ground. You sit there where I can see you, and he sits here. So I was supervised. So it was a bit, he protected me from when I was young, and that's how we became very, very, very close to Joe. Then it turns, I'm going to turn 21. And Daddy in Upper Hill allows us to have a party. And this time I'm getting a bit of a serious man in my life. We used to call him PJ. He's the man I married. He is in the party. My father is leaving and gives a blessing to the party and says, goodbye, have a good time. But the man makes a last statement. Mary, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you the key. How do you say that when a man already has a fiancé there? He refused. Daddy left. Joe went to the room and came with a beautiful, beautiful key. White, drawn, and he says, my sister, you have the key. Up to today, I keep that key. And I will never, never throw it away. But, well, Mayaka, I don't know, Mwaniki and Mama, can you correct that book of your father a bit? I was not privileged. In Kangaroo, I slept on wooden beds, I ate maize and beans with those insects. I don't know what you call them in English. Bush or whatever in English they are called. But Rachel and Jero were taken to Nairobi Primary School. And later on they went to Limuru Girls. I went to Alliance. Is that being privileged than Murugi and Jero? There I think there is a little mistake that he said that. I was only taken, I think my father loved me. The mother died when he was young. I was named after the mother, so the mother had come back to life. So obviously, and I'll tell you why Joe told Professor Kamau he wanted a baby girl. It's because when Daddy got sick, I held his hand for 2 weeks. Then went to Paris, he died. And Joe said, I wish I could have a baby girl to do what Mary did to Dad. Professor Kamau confessed that to me. That's what Joe said. So I know why the love of Sheba, and Sheba has been a good friend for Joe. So Joe is not my brother. Joe is my friend. You can see, if you don't think I'm smart, I'm wearing at least purple and yellow. The reason is to look up and see. Purple and yellow. Those are Joe's colors. And because he came to the university, Margaret, my English is not very good. I tried to write it, Carrots. What did you do? Is that what it's called? Those who are in America within Chicago. And he's so proud of that university. Carol, and he wanted those colors, so as a family, you don't see any car with a red ribbon, we put his colors, purple with people and yellow on the car. I later on met a young man, and my father would see me with the Pascal. He died 23 years ago. And Daddy would be told by people who would see me, oh, we saw Mary with Joe. Then he met Joe. He met Pascal. He says, I've seen the famous Joe. Joe became so close to my husband that he took part in our wedding. And Margaret, thank you. As Joe's wife, you did the reception in Nairobi for me. And you taught Joe and I statistics. We will never forget you, Margaret. Thank you very much for what you did to us and what you made. I was privileged to go to school. You talked about my school. and we had a bicycle to go to school called Norman. You know, those bicycles, you know the one the men have something here in front, you know the back seat. We came from Kiambu, my father joined politics. I made to sit on that front. Then we fall. Then I said, I'm going to tell Mama, Dad. I was told, if you dare, you walk to school. Forever I kept quiet. Because I could 3 kilometers without shoes. And having come from Kiambu town school was a bit different. And you would go counting Mwananchi's cows, and he's being told this is not done in Bere. Don't count people. That's the brother I loved. Of late, we had agreed to visit all my mother's and my father's friends. We visited Mudhoni Nikimani, we visited at Bera, and then we were going to visit Mrs. Mahemu and an uncle. I told Joe in hospital, I talked to him, and 2 days before he stopped talking, I held his hand for 2 hours. And I said, if you hear me, my brother, squeezed my heart. And for 2 hours he did. I told him off. I said, who is going to go with me? Who is going to be the grandfather to my children? Who is going to be the father to my children? Who is going to be the friend who visits me? Who is going to listen to me? What am I going to say to all those people who write to you and they are calling me? The articles have not come out. Why, if Esther and Margaret decided they wanted a 3rd one to be the one to go to State House with Joe, I had offered myself that I will escort you, Joe. But DP, that's with the right note. Politics is not one thing I'm gifted. I followed different life of my life. And so I went there by saying, Joe, you accused me of having left camp 13 months earlier, denying you the breastfeeding, denying you the being taken care of a baby. Now it's time to say goodbye. You told me to be strong, to serve. I promise you I will do exactly that. I will do my best. No man can be the man leading the home. I promise on my honor, Joe, you requested me. You love your family. You want them to be united. You want them to remain the way they are. God, help me to honor your dreams and do it. But my dear brother, I do not want 13 months gap. I am not joining you 13 months time. I promise you.
Asante sana Sally Koskei na waziri wetu wa Embu Kariuki. If my sister was given an opportunity, if I was not the brother, she would marry me. We are that close. So don't come here and say many other things. And Your Excellency, allow me to speak in double French. Very very good in double French. Mwede tiuwe to baba ni kwa are gide adomene kiamuringa. Nondo wa utaba manje kagayabu gena rotemu ama akebirwa kangaro. Then tokerewa ni ngage meditation ngage ni ndui. Tokerewa ni nda ote kwange menya ni ndui. And with those few words in double Dutch, now it is my privilege to ask my kid brother, Governor Nash, to come forward. Mabiti ya majambeno mukwana yuki teino, HDI Governor Central Bank. Korwa mwaro kuri niye. Aba no china nijapo wa tumete ndui. Lengi na bia nyingi okera mutari wa Kagwe. Nice. That's why you never made me make too much money. Go ahead. Na President William Ruto. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. My Lord, the bishops, His Excellency, the Deputy President, Cabinet Ministers, and all the workers from the national government and from the county government. Thank you very much for coming here. All protocols observed. I've left the governors, but when you say all protocols observed, nawasalimia wote, hata wananchi watukufu. I was given a specific task. I was told, tell us who Joe was in your own perspective as Nash. So I'll not speak for anyone else. No one speaks for everybody else. Mary speaks for the whole clan. I'll speak for one. Nobody else. So I'll say who Joe was. To me, I read a speech. Mimi sio mtu wa story mingi. I'm specific to the point. I don't want to forget who Joe was to me. I've been able to say everything about Joe. I keep on forgetting. I used to call him Uncle Joe. I don't know why. I think all the kids call him Uncle Joe. But I always called him Uncle Joe. So I do not, I'll keep on calling him Uncle Joe. But to me, Joe was a man you could not contain in a box. He could be in one place, you could hold him down. Joe was a man of all seasons. Joe did everything you can imagine. Joe never sang like my friend here, Norman, but he was in the choir. He even was a member of a band team. He played the drums for a team that was in an alliance called the Strangers. So Joe was everything. It was not just in those parlance to say that Joe was everything and not say that he knew how to handle the lowest of people. And Joe could even dine with the kings. But in between Joe was a man who was friendly to all, and no doubt I can see the friends who are here. And as I say about this brother of mine called Joe and a friend, I looked at it this way. I'll give a perspective. When sometimes you climb a mountain, you are unable to savor the beauty of the mountain because you are too close to it. But when you step back a distance away, you are able to see the mammothness, the bigness, the largeness, the landscape, all of it. That's what we have done for Joe. We want to honor his life. I did not come here to mourn him. I came here, this guy brought line. He was a very, very great man. Joe himself, a very awesome man, a man with a big heart, a heart that equals his towering frame. You know, he was a very big man. And Joe walked on this world like a colossus. He feared absolutely nothing. To me, one thing I liked him as an old man, his thoughts were digital. Out of thought, he's an analog man. But you sat down with him, Joe will take you into modern times. He will be able to tell you from the history of the world and bring you into today. That was the Joe I knew. So one of the qualities I would like to mention about Joe was that he was a brilliant man, extremely intelligent. I admired Joe. He was articulate, to the point. A very any idea he got was very, very passionate. That's what I like about him. You could be on the other divide of the concept Joe wanted to portray to you, but was so passionate, and the man was so great that if you listen to him for a few seconds, you pull you to his side. That's how good Joe was. And one of the things that I like about Joe never knew defeat. Joe fought on his feet. You presented him with an idea he's never had, and very quickly Joe will be talking. And you talk intelligent and give you solutions. So, to me, I found this man a man who was so focused in everything he did. In fact, for Joe, all that he applied his mind to, he he handed it to the physician of a neurosurgeon. Not just a surgeon, a neurosurgeon. And therefore, Joe, his outcomes are always good. I remember him, he always saying, I've never failed in anything. And I'll tell you something years later, apparently you make your own life. You're like Christ. You know, you're like God himself. You are created in his nature. And in his likeness. And when in his likeness, you look like God. And like God, God speaks. He created the world by speaking. So, speak what you want to see in your life. Do you want to see yourself healthy? Do you want yourself rich? Do you want yourself successful? Do you want peace or joy? So, Job always spoke. And he spoke very many good things about himself and who are before him. Job was a very informed man. And if I want them to get a set of ideas, a plan, or critical review, or situational analysis, Job would be there and he would always give you an answer that you never ever thought about. Job was a people's person, was very people's oriented. I say like again in the scriptures, he went about doing good. That's what Jesus did on this earth. He went about doing good. Joe did a lot of good things. We cannot highlight all of them today, but in his upcoming book, you'll be able to see all the things he did. He had a rare inventiveness of mind. His thought was crystal clear, and he always told me, in diversity of thought, that's how you mix up and come with success. Even when he differed with you, Joe never left you with a bitter taste on your mouth. You are always friends, and that is a quality, a trait I saw where he had so much patience. He was a diplomat par excellence. Joe focused on the big picture, while defining and putting in details. Joe focused on the big picture. He would always tell me, don't give storms in a teacup. Don't sweat over small things. Focus. What we want is to be result-oriented. Joe was generous to a fault. Even as he lay at the hospital bed, he was still sending Moneki to handle some church harambe in Nyaga. That was Joe. Very generous and brutally honest. I would want to say why I admired Joe. I admired Joe so much that I actually wanted to copy him. I wanted to duplicate, if not clone myself into a Joe. Joe did everything that I admire. Joe went to the airline. I had to go to the airline. No doubt about it. Whatever they took for me to go to Alliance, so I followed Joe to Alliance. After that, I did my first degree at the University of Nairobi. I did exactly the same subjects Joe did. And after that, even in my own career in banking and in finance, it was Joe that I was trying to follow. So I can say the only one that could not do was this animal called politics Mutai. Mutai, my friend, that animal is unknown in my concept. That animal Joe beat me hands down. And all of a sudden Joe becomes a cabinet minister. I told him I also worked towards it, so I hate a more about from Kidogo, but over the years, as I settled down, I am now a minister of the word. Not for this, but I'm a minister of the word. A minister of the word is one who preaches, one who professes the word. That's what I do. We run a church in my family in Nairobi. And that takes me to speak about Joe's spiritual life for a second. Joe, like in all aspects of his life, he suffered several other spiritual faiths. You could contain you in a box. But key to me was that Joe was born again. And the only way to get hooked in our Christian faith, Anglican Church. I'm speaking for myself. Gianni Hill and Joe was born again. And in the Bible says this, do not rely on the seen things. Things like what you see in this world. The focus should be on matters that are unseen. The unseen things are spiritual. And the spiritual things are defined in the Bible are deathless. What am I saying? I'm trying to say Joe has already moved over to heaven. And his spirit is in heaven. Joe, what he has done, he has just relocated home. And he's back in heaven, and I'm saying, what will be turning it around? That is not the Joe. That his earthly suit, his spirit, which is Joe, is in heaven. Thank you very much. So long, my friend Joe. So long, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Asante sana. I'm looking at the time, and I can assure you, the family would have loved to feed you. But this friend of mine who used to give pocket money called us to the office and said, absolutely no food with COVID. So Mutahi, you get a beating. I now want to call the next person, Professor Anyang Nyongo. He is under the family tribute because this man is part of the family. He was Joe's best man in Chicago. But I must tell you, Professor, as you walk there, you are not very important to Joe more than me because Margaret, sitting over there, brought a friend of hers, and I became the best man. Unofficially, we wore those good things that you wear when people are getting married. But officially, Christian-wise, Professor became the best man. His Excellency, Peter Anyang Nyongo.
Thank you very much, Norman. May I apologize to Minister Kagwe that I will speak without Barakoa. I find it easier. And I think I'm far enough for you not to get COVID from you. Your Excellency, Vice President, the family of Joe Nyaga, and all friends and relatives gathered here today, I think I want to say good afternoon. Before I speak, I just want to make one correction that Bill Nyaga and Alice Nyaga would like to make. Bill reminded me that Alice was not actually sacked. After the saying goodbye to JJ, there was the forming of a coalition government where there was a big reshuffling of some seats or some positions were asked, some were recreated. And in that process of reorganization, that Alice suffered axing, not dismissal. Because it was a whole government exercise, not targeted at Alice herself. So I hope that that will be corrected in the annals of history and that a clear perspective will be received. Secondly, Norman, let me apologize too that the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, could not come, but he sent me a message to be read to the family in memory of Joe Nyaga. It's a very brief message, which I will read before I give my own elegy to my dear friend Joe Nyaga. We are here today to bid farewell to a decent and a truly honorable man. In life, Joe Nyaga was a true representation of what all of us wish to be: good citizens of the Republic of Kenya, able to build the type of country we all wish to have. He was non-tribal, but respectful of the unique cultures of our dear vice citizens, proud of our country while recognizing and pointing out its failings. He was God-fearing, and deeply proud to be born again. This was a status that he never shied away from pronouncing to his friends and foes alike. One of the things that struck anyone who came face to face with Joe was his graciousness, his smile, his reassuring presence, and his honesty. Ever so optimistic, hardworking, and deeply patriotic, Joe strongly believed that it was possible to turn Kenya into a prosperous, not tribal nation through the honest efforts of all leaders and citizens and through sheer hard work. I believe it was in the pursuit of this ideal that he surprised the community of this region and chose to work with us in the Orient Democratic Movement in the run-up to the 2007 elections, probably well aware that it would cost him politically. In his small way, he was trying to break the divide that plagues our survival as a nation, and many times turned deadly. Joe was a worker, and an extremely disciplined one at that. When I nominated him, not me, Raila, as Minister for Cooperative Development, I knew he was equal to the task. But nothing prepared me for the lengths he would go, visiting different parts of the country and reviving cooperative societies that had long died, or creating many new ones from the scratch. He revived a sector that was then marred in numerous problems and laid a firm foundation that will serve this country for years to come. In Joe's death, our country has lost a fine public servant. Having served as a diplomat, corporate leader, MP and cabinet minister, among other portfolios, Joe Nyaga left a mark in virtually every facet of our nation's life with great success. One of the projects that remains a work in progress and which he was passionate about is the unity of Kenyans, regardless of tribe, race, faith, age, or gender. I recall that soon after my handshake with President William Ruto in March 2018, Joe was among the very first people to come to my office with encouragement that it was the way to go and that we needed to walk the whole distance. That remained his message to me until his timely death. In Joe's death, we have lost a patriot of our nation. I have lost a friend and a counselor. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Raila Amolo Odinga is here to December 19, 2020. Norman, I will hand you the physical message when we leave here. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was sitting here at Sisi Mbalile, and then Sisi saw in the program, or heard, I don't know how he heard it, that I was godfather to Mwaniki. He looked at me, she looked at me and asked, "Is that real?" And I told her, yes, it is. And we laughed because she couldn't believe, in honesty, that I can be a godfather. I think Sisi, that was rather discussion. But as you can see, as Rogi Shayan, I have been a godfather to an extremely well-disciplined and well-brought-up child. I'm proud of Mwaniki. And I'm proud of my role as a godfather, which is the only role I've played in life worth talking about. And I hope that somebody will look at me and say, come and be godfather to one of my siblings or one of my children. That's an application which I extend to everybody. It's a job that I clearly welcome, seeing how successful I have been with Mwaniki. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like Nash, I am going to read my speech. Not very long, Norman, but since this is today's, can you give it to him? Give that to, yeah. I know why I'm giving it to him. Today is Joe's day. And having lived in this world for 72 years, I hope you will be patient enough to listen to us talking about our friends. I was asked to talk about friends of Joe, and there are many here. Friends from the Lions High School, like Amos Wako, sitting over there, Sally Koske, sitting somewhere, and many more that I've seen in this congregation today. That's the reason why I'm wearing this tie. It's the Lions High School, old boys tie. And by the way, when the vice president, deputy president, men never grow up. Men are always boys. It's only women who grow up. If you want to know that men never grow up, just ask a man what relationship they have with their wives. And the wife will tell you, your sock is smelling. Where did you leave your underwear? Men are always boys. That's why the connections and the relations we make as boys last so long in life. It is therefore with a very heavy heart that I write this piece as a tribute to my friend Joe Nyaga, who passed on this month in Nairobi after a short illness. A gentleman with a tremendous sense of humor. He was great company and a friend in need as well as friend indeed, in the true sense of that famous saying. He had friends across race and color. He was omnipresent in Kenyan politics as a parliamentarian, minister and diplomat. He made a mark in history. I first knew the Nyaga family through our late father, the Reverend Canon Hesbon Shimei Nyoma, who used to tell us stories about his days in Nanyuki during the Mau Mau. In 1953, my father had been posted to Nanyuki as a young Anglican clergy serving the King's African Rifles. We were not expected to visit father, nor did he ever come home for holidays for the 3 years he served in the army. But he made many friends within the church in the Mount Kenya region, and one of them was Jeremiah Joseph Mwaniki Nyaga, Joe's late father. The others were the late Bishop Obadiah Kariuki and the Reverend Sospita Mugmagwa, both of whom he had known during his training at St. Paul's Theological College, Limuru, now St. Paul's University. These names were familiar to us in the many stories father told us of his exploits as an Anglican priest, serving in a war zone. From the very beginning, many ties bound us together. Hence the title of my tribute, The Ties That Bind. In 1962, my late brother Agri and I joined the Alliance High School when the legendary headmaster, Edward Kelly Francis, was heading the Alliance High School on his last year of service. 2 years after that, Joe joined the same school. Agri felt we were meeting someone we had known for a long time, if only from the stories father had told us about his father. The years of the Alliance were full of joyful experiences, which may be remained printed in our minds, sometimes even romanticized, as nostalgia became the pastime of men rapidly being swallowed by its many earthly responsibilities. Great ties that bind. The school motto at Alliance High School was strong to serve. It was instilled in us in hymns of redemption songs and songs of praise twice a day, morning and evening. The sermons were not devoid of it either, nor was speech days and pep talks that teachers engaged in when disciplining a boy who, for some reason, might have behaved contrary to school rules and the school motto. We were fully involved in its curricular activities such as drama and music, whilst also walking hand in hand in the famous valley with girls from the Alliance Girls High School. We didn't do anything more, as Mary, Joe's sister, can testify to that, since she was in the same class with my sister, Susan. So if they thought we were looking after them, we also feared they could report on us. Great be the ties. Joe was a singer of no mean repute. He belonged to a band called The Strangers, together with a brother Baker, Ben Swai, and the retired Bishop of Butere, Michael Sunday. Their own revival band at the Alliance High School ecosystem were the Strollers, where Joe Mungai, Sami Mwangi, Ben Mumo, and Joe Dongaya styled themselves as the Beatles. One can therefore understand why Joe grew up the way he did, why he was such a stickler for decency, discipline, honor, fairness, work, punctuality, public service, and civilized behavior. Joe was a civil man, but always he not only